Hello and welcome to another video where I talk about my Amazon KDP publishing journey. In this one I'm going to be covering the month of March, and what a month it has been. I've managed to achieve new highs in terms of revenue, but I've also managed to get my second best performing book blocked and my Amazon KDP account suspended. So make sure you watch this one. Before I show you the figures for March, I just want to kick this off by showing you January and February. And as you can see, the sales were pretty stable with a slight increase from about mid-Feb leading up to March. But from this chart alone, you can tell that we're heading in the right direction. So it was looking promising for the month of March. Now, looking at March, you can see I've sold 421 units, which is great. That's my new record in terms of sales. Something worth looking at as well is the Compare Books tab, where you can see the sales distribution between all of my books. Something I spoke about in the past was the fact that most of my sales were coming from just one book. So as you can see in March, I've managed to get another book of mine ranked pretty well and selling decently as well. However, that didn't last long because as you can see, the sales of that book stopped on March 23rd. And what happened is that book got blocked. I'm going to talk about what happened with that blocked book in a bit more detail after I cover all the figures. However, right off the bat, you can see the results could have been much better if that hasn't happened. So regardless of that little setback, we still managed to cash in $1,040.38, which is my new record since I started at Amazon KDP. And $1,000 a month has been my goal for a while, so I'm really proud of that. So just a quick look on the regions of where my books sell the most. As you can see, US is by far the leader in terms of sales. Then a decent amount of sales comes from the UK as well as Canada, and then some odd sales here and there from other countries. Although that number looks great and we have managed to crack $1,000 in royalties, not all of it is going to be profit. We still have to cover our ad spend as well as other costs associated with running this business. Let me head over to the ad campaign manager to show you how much exactly I've spent on ads in the month of March. So in the US marketplace, I've spent $47.53 on ads, achieving an ACoS of 21.82%, which is just about riding the line of profitability for me. However, I still think it's worth running the ads, even though I'm not necessarily profiting from the sales from those ads alone. Those ads are helping my books stay ranked really well, which in turn boosts organic sales, increasing our profits. In the UK marketplace, I spent £38.44 on ads, achieving an ACoS of 55%. That ACoS is not profitable for me for sure. However, the loss associated with it is not really a whole lot. As I've previously mentioned, it's still worth running the ads even though they're not making you money directly. However, they are still benefiting to sales by keeping your ranks high. So I'm totally happy to absorb that cost and keep the ad campaigns running as they are. Lastly, in Canada, I spent $8.91 for ads, achieving an ACoS of 27%, which is almost profitable. It's maybe losing $1 or $2 for those 3 orders that I've achieved, but I think that's still perfectly fine in my eyes. So just to summarize the month of March, I've achieved $1,040.38 in royalties. I spent $102.11 on ads, and I spent a further of $52.38 on my subscriptions for Midjourney and Canva, giving me a total profit of $885.91. So not quite $1,000 a month yet. We broke that in revenue. Hopefully next month I can break that in profit. That has been my goal since I started publishing, so hopefully we can crack through that and then move on to bigger goals. So let's get into what I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this video about my account getting suspended and one of my books getting blocked. So there's going to be a little story on how that's gone down, and hopefully it will be helpful to any of you if you end up in the same situation as me and you're freaking out that you're not going to get your account back or whatever. This is how it's gone down for me. Can't guarantee it'll be the same for you, but this is how I resolved this problem. So it all started with me publishing a new book on the 21st of March. And what I've done is, as I was publishing my new book, in my library, I've opened one of my old books just to sort of see my description, the pricing and stuff like that, just to gain some inspiration as to how I'm going to structure and format my other book. So I actually haven't made any changes to that book. That book has been published for months now. So I haven't made any changes to it. It's been an existing book in my library that I've clicked edit on just to flick through the details. And then obviously after you submit the changes, even though you've made none, it still have to go through the review process. So that's when the issues started, right? So I published my new book, and alongside of it, I was editing my already existing book. So I've submitted that for a review, and the book has been published. It's been accepted. Everything was nice and dandy. About 3 hours later, I've received another email regarding my new book, saying they have found some issues. It basically said that they found that some of the keywords on my book can cause a misleading customer experience, blah, 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 whatever. So I had to review my new book and make some changes so that it can go. So they wanted me to make some changes to my new book and then resubmit it for review, which is exactly what I've done. So 2 days later, I get a response from Amazon saying that during their review of the book that's already been published and the changes have been accepted on, they found some issues where the book is in violation of the content guidelines. And here they give an example of what the violation could have been. Essentially what it referred to is references to a trademark brand, term, phrase, or logo, which is fair enough. Obviously, after receiving this email, I've gone back to them. I'm sorry to hear that my book is in violation of your content guidelines. Can you please shine a light on the specific reasons my book has been blocked? Obviously, I wasn't sure what exactly was the problem in my book. I just wanted to get some more info as to why they thought it violated their guidelines, right? So at that point, Amazon gets back to me saying they have temporarily suspended my Amazon KDP account. Lovely. Due to the fact they haven't been able to verify my publishing rights to some of the content in my book. Fair enough. And then they further say, to have your account reinstated, please take the following steps. Reply to this message with a declaration, blah, blah, blah. I confirm I have read and comply with the content guidelines. They give you a link to the content guidelines, basically tell you to write a statement that you confirm that you've read it, you understood it, and you're not going to break the content guidelines again. So I've responded to them saying, I will comply, I've read the rules, I understand, please reinstate my account. On that same day, literally a few minutes later, they responded saying they've reinstated my account. Right, so I got my account back. My account's been unsuspended, which is lovely. The book was still blocked, so I reached out to them and basically asked if I could make the adjustments to my book to make it compliant. At the moment, I wasn't able to make any changes to the book. When it's in the status blocked, you can't actually edit the content at all. When you click the drop down, there's no option. So I basically asked for them to change the status so that I can edit it and then effectively get it back up. So I then get an automated response from Amazon basically saying that they need more time to review my case. They're going to get back to me in about 5 days. Fair enough. Then a few days later, I get another automated response saying, we can still see your book is blocked. If you want to get it unblocked and you think it's been unfairly blocked, please submit proof that essentially the content in the book, you are the trademark owner of that content. Prove to us that, you haven't infringed on the trademarks or whatever, which I obviously couldn't do. I essentially took it on the chin and said, yep, fair enough. So I basically go back to them saying, listen, I would like to make changes. However, I'm unable to do so because the book is in blocked status. Can you unblock it so I can make the changes and submit it for review? I then get another automated response saying, you can only edit a book that's live. And I'm like, yep, well, I understand that. I would like to make changes. Can you change the status? And then they refer me back to their original email. And then I basically get stuck in a loop of automated emails saying, I would like to edit, but they're like, you can't edit, it's blocked. Please provide proof. I can't provide proof. Can I edit? Please provide proof, kind of thing. So yeah, basically got stuck in an automated loop of doom. After which I've essentially given up and accepted my fate. that book is not coming back. So they've also said in one of their emails basically saying you either submit proof or you resubmit this book with the necessary changes as a new title. And I guess that's exactly what I've decided to do. I made the necessary adjustment to the book so to make sure it's definitely compliant and they can't complain about anything. Nothing can be potentially taken the wrong way and interpreted as an infringement. So I've made all those changes. I created a whole new cover for the book and I've essentially resubmitted it for review. So that book has now actually been accepted and that book is now live under a new title. Obviously the unfortunate thing with this is you lose all your reviews, you lose your ranking, and you're pretty much starting out from scratch with a brand new book. So there's no guarantee that this book will ever rank as well as the previous book ranked. But it is what it is. The book is lost. I'm still grateful to be able to have my account back and keep publishing. So I'm happy to take an L on that one book as long as I get to keep my account and keep publishing. So yeah, if you're wondering what exactly was the issue with my book, it essentially was a trademark issue. It's very hard to know where they draw the line on what's trademarked and what's not, whether it's having a logo, a reference to a brand, even having a silhouette of a logo could be potentially taken the wrong way. Just play it safe. I basically published my book with things I've seen other people get away with. Literally on the front page of Amazon, you can see books which have similar references to brands as my book did, and they seem to get away with it. They're ranked very high, they're bestsellers, they're making a ton of money, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Some people can get away with it, doesn't necessarily mean you can. I certainly couldn't. Be wary. Even your existing books can get blocked. So if you go to make any changes, whether that's pricing or description or whatever, when you resubmit it and your book is, could potentially be taken the wrong way, you are potentially risking your book getting blocked. So be careful with that. Hopefully some of you find this useful. That was my case. If you find yourself in a similar position, just make sure all your stuff is as compliant as it can be. So there's nothing they can potentially complain about and get you banned on. But it's not the end of the world. You will get your account back. Worst case scenario, you lose that book, which it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, that's it. If you found this video useful, interesting, or helpful at all, consider giving me a like. Give me your thoughts in a comment, and maybe give me some suggestions as to what you would like to see in the future. And consider subscribing if you're interested to see more content from me. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.